And welcome in to the latest edition of Fourth Down in the Steel City. If you are not already following this podcast, what's wrong with you? Seriously. You don't have any friends. You're just sitting around doing nothing anyway. Okay, you probably have friends. That was mean of me. I shouldn't have said that.
That
But
was a
you,
little mean.
But listen, we're your friends now, okay? So subscribe, follow, do whatever you got to do. Download, listen, rate, review. And most importantly, tell your friends, however many you may or may not have, about Fourth Down in the Steel City because, well, I'll be honest, we've just been having too much fun lately, making jokes about Kabali and Crisco and references to Chappelle's show and Omar from The Wire and speaking Japanese, konnichiwa, and all kinds of stuff. So if you've missed it, you can go back to past episodes too. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. You know that, right? Go back, clean all the wisdom that we've provided you through the first 5 weeks of the Steelers season. No Steelers game this weekend. It doesn't mean we stop making picks. Greg Finley, intrepid producer, in between myself. Hi, I'm Chris Mack and Josh Taylor. And how did we do, Greg, last week? I know the week before I did very well. I don't know if I did so well this week.
You kind of called it and said you wouldn't do well the next week.
Yeah.
And you went 5-9 this week.
There we go. Right back to normal.
Me and Josh both went 8-6. Chris, you have a 1-game lead at 42-36 on Josh.
I already frittered it away.
6-game lead on me at 36-42.
I told you it wouldn't last long, boys.
Some funny ones that we got were we all got the Lions, we all got the Colts, we all got the Dolphins, we all got the Saints.
Okay.
I took 2 of the 425 games with the Eagles covering and the Bengals covering, and you both took the underdogs, but then you both got the Jets, and I took
oh, boy.
And then we all lost the Texans because they lost by 2, and we all lost the Packers because they lost outright to Vegas.
Pretty sure Jordan Love's dead to me.
Yeah. So that's where we are. And we have a whole new slate for this week.
What do we got?
We start in London with Baltimore and Tennessee. The Titans are plus 3.5.
Ooh. We're just going to make noises about this one? Can we go with that? Geez.
Got my feelings already.
3.5. You know my rule about the hook. But I think the Ravens, look, Ravens Steelers, I kind of just throw out because the Ravens and the Steelers are division rivalry, and Baltimore, look, the Steelers are Lamar's kryptonite for whatever weird reason, or in the case of last weekend, his receivers kryptonite. So I think Baltimore is a whole heck of a lot better than they looked against the Steelers. I still like them as the team that will push Cincy the hardest for the division, because yes, I still believe in the Bengals. Don't tell anybody. Ravens only laying 3.5. Josh gives me a look like, are you serious, boy? 3.5. Yeah, I'll lay it. Give me the Ravens.
I'm going to say the same thing with Baltimore, because you take the Steelers game out, because, I mean, that's pretty much a designated rock fight, just like on principle. It's hard to count the Indianapolis game just because, one call probably changes that outcome. That team could have been 4-0 coming into this week. And the rest of those games, they actually played really, really well, especially against inferior teams. And I think that's what this Tennessee team is. I think Baltimore wins this one. I think they cover the 3.5. They probably win it by a touchdown plus.
I'll take the Ravens as well. Titans on the road have been a completely different team than the Titans at home. And
they're going across the pond now.
Yeah, and they're going to London. And if the Ravens, you already brought up the drops, if they don't drop the ball 600 times, they beat the Steelers last week. And so I would like to think that they work on that this week. They don't drop the ball 600 times. They establish the run game. They're a good run defense. They will shut down Henry and make Tannehill beat them. I like Baltimore.
Good call.
Okay, Washington at Atlanta, Falcons minus 2.5.
Oh, boy. This is another one we're just gonna make noises. I think these are two teams destined for like 7-10, 8-9. And so it makes sense that the Commanders would get back to 500 and the Falcons would fall to 500. So give me the Commanders outright over the Falcons in Atlanta.
I thought Atlanta showed us something that went against Houston. They have this element. They're getting to that point where they're figuring out ways to win. With the quarterback that they have, with the offense that they have, I think they're starting to find their stride as far as running the football and everything. However, Washington is able to do a lot throwing the football. They got Sam Howell. Eric Bieniemy seems to have unlocked a few things with him. Even if Atlanta gets a lead in this thing, Washington can still crawl their way back. So I'll go with the Commanders just for their ability to stay in games throwing the football.
And after what Washington looked like against the Bears last week at home, and the Falcons continue to find ways to win games at home, and they are at home in this game, I'm going to take Atlanta in the 2.5.
That may be one I changed my mind on because
I could easily change my mind on that one too.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
And I have Desmond Ridder this week in fantasy because Anthony Richardson is out for a couple of weeks. So let Desmond Ridder cook. Minnesota at Chicago, Bears plus 2.5.
Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Justin Jefferson for the foreseeable future. Yeah, go ahead.
Why are the Bears the underdog if there's no Justin Jefferson? And after what they just did last week.
Against Washington, though. Josh just said it. They're still the Bears.
They're still the Bears.
They're still
the Vikings.
Yeah, but
they're still Minnesota. You're right. And even without Justin Jefferson, they're even more mid.
They are, and they're probably going to lose a whole lot more close games throughout the season, right? Like they're getting the exact opposite of last year's karma, spinning right back around at 180 degrees and 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So I get that, but there's no way they should be in a single possession game against the Bears. There just isn't. And so, I'm going to definitely, what is it? 2.5? Is that what the number is? Yeah. I'm laying 2.5 because I think the Vikings win this by a touchdown. It'll be ugly. I think it could be a rock fight at times, but unless Justin Fields, and I'll be okay if Justin Fields spins some crazy magic and does some stuff, but I think Justin Fields is also good for probably at least one killer pick at some point, as much as Kirk Cousins is. It's going to be an ugly game is what I'm saying, people. Vikings laying the 2.5.
You say ugly game, I say give me the home team in an ugly game because you probably got a better shot in the ugly game at home. And I'll say this much too. Justin Jefferson not being on that Vikings offense, they've already had their issues running the football. Having Justin Jefferson at least gave Kirk Cousins something to do. Don't get me wrong. I like TJ Hawkinson as a tight end. I just don't know if that's enough for what they need for that offense to do. So now it comes down to, okay, now you're going to be in a rock fight with these two teams because Minnesota's not going to fight it up like they want to. And Chicago might be better benefited in a rock fight having Justin Fields as their quarterback because you know he can do running the football. So Chicago 2.5-point underdogs at home in a potential ugly game. I'll take the home team.
You already know I'm taking the home team. I questioned why this was 2.5 in the way of the Vikings. I don't think Jordan Addison is ready yet to be the Justin Jefferson of that offense.
Fair.
I don't trust Kirk Cousins anymore. And
Chris, that's your boy though.
For that reason alone, I'm going to take the Bears at home. And unfortunately for Brandon Gaudin, he drew this one for Fox.
How dare you question Captain Kirk? He's only thrown like half a dozen killer picks already this year.
And then he asked his teammates, hey, you like that?
You like that?
Man.
Chris, you and I, we took the Vikings to cover against the Chiefs, and we got cheated by the refs. So
that's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Multiple times on that play.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Pass interference and the fact that the defender took his helmet off. That's a 15-yard penalty, but it's the Chiefs. Whatever.
It's Chiefs. Who cares?
Point well made.
We don't want to make Tay mad. Yeah.
Don't do
Here's
that.
the game. Here's the game we're gonna get this Sunday on CBS with the Steelers off. It's the Seahawks at the Bengals. Cincinnati -3.5.
This is a good one. Now, I'm going to go to an old trope, but I think the axiom holds true here because, first of all, I think Cincinnati, as tough as it's been for them to find their legs, I think they're starting to find them. It's been a very slow process, but it's happening. And if they're only laying 3.5 at home, here's where the old trope comes in. Pacific time zone team coming east for a 1:00 kick in the Eastern time zone. Give me the Bengals laying the 3.5. I think they continue to find some things and kind of continue their slow climb back to getting right against a pretty good Seahawks team.
I'm with you. I think the Bengals are doing the thing that Geno Smith's alma mater is starting to embrace, or trust in the climb. I thought they showed that a lot last week. I thought you like the West Virginia reference, right? Mm-hmm. The Jamar Chase Joe Burrow connection is alive and well. Apparently,
yeah,
they can dial it up when they need to. Cincy, when they are clicking, is actually a pretty complete offense because they can run the ball and they can throw it. The question is, can that line be consistent? Can they give Burrow time? I think they're still sorting it out. They had to do the exact same thing last year. I think they're doing that again. I'll take Cincy.
Seattle coming off of a bye. Seattle coming off of playing the Giants before that bye.
Point taken.
Bengals at home as a 3.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Seattle.
Ooh,
because Kenneth Walker III will be the difference. And I just don't think Cincinnati's going to be able to contain him. I really don't. He has been a monster for that team, and that has made Geno not have to throw the ball as much. And when he does throw the ball, he's got that DK Metcalf guy, and he's pretty good.
So that Tyler Lockett guy.
Yeah.
Big Tyler Lockett guy here. I'm a big fan.
They have a really good offense. And if they can get to Burrow and make him uncomfortable with that lingering injury that he's got, they got to Daniel Jones 11 times. I get it. It's the Giants. But you bring the house that many times and you get to Burrow and make him uncomfortable, I like Seattle. And Chris, I'm with you. Great game. Ian Eagle on the call of that one. Ooh. I will be locked in for that game.
Nice.
San Francisco at Cleveland. This is the game we're going to get on Fox on Sunday at 1:00. Browns are only a +5.5 underdog in this one.
Oh my gosh. Seriously? This is my survivor pick. Niners go to 6-0. I think they blow the Browns out. They win by double digits. I don't know what else to say. Deshaun Watson
gets another touchdown.
Niners big. 5.5 is not nearly enough. You could double that, and I would start to back away. But 5.5, nah, I'll lay it.
Is it Deshaun Watson or DTR starting in this game? Do we know for sure yet? Because they keep trying to conceal that Deshaun Watson injury.
Watson is questionable. He's questionable.
I think it's going to end up being Watson. Like, that's the only thing that keeps this number where it's at.
Yeah,
maybe. I've been thinking about this as far as what San Francisco is. You know, bad teams beat themselves. Average teams beat bad teams but lose to good teams. Good teams, they beat bad teams, they beat average teams, and sometimes they beat other good teams. Great teams beat everybody. San Francisco isn't just beating everybody, they are whooping everybody.
Rashing, yeah.
They are just absolutely whooping people. This is not going to change. San Francisco 5.5 is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute gift. I'm taking the 49ers.
Everything Josh just said. Did you see what they did to the Cowboys?
Exactly. They whoop everybody.
That was the game of the year, and they whooped them. It was like Central Catholic and North Allegheny. Game of the year, Central Catholic whooped them from kickoff to the end. That's what that game felt
like. Nuts. Yep.
All right, so we all like the 49ers. Another one where I think we're all going to be on the same page, although it's a big number. Miami hosts in Carolina, Dolphins -13.5.
That's a huge number. It does make you pause for a second. But then you look at what Miami has done against bad teams. I mean, they beat the Patriots. I forget what the number was in that game, but they won by a touchdown. Obviously, the Broncos game, they handled that one. So I I don't worry about them in this one. I don't. I think there are questions. Obviously, you get torched by Buffalo the way they did. They gave up 34 to Justin Herbert in week 1. This defense is kind of off and on, and I think maybe they're going to be very vulnerable in 2 out of the next 4 weeks. They got to go to Philly. They got to host the Chiefs. Those could get ugly if the offense does not continue to score. If Devon Achane, I don't know how we're saying it today. Doesn't matter. Achane. If he has to be out. He's been placed on IR. He'll have to be out for those games. Their schedule softens up considerably in the back half until they get to weeks 16 and 18. But between now and then, they've got a lot of chumps on their schedule. And it starts with the Panthers. So, yeah, I think they cover the 13.5.
Miami at home against a bad team. This is a double triple possession special. Yeah, Dolphins. This is easy.
Yeah, Miami. For all those reasons.
Simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool, though, Tua versus Bryce Young. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Good call.
The Alabama connection.
That is a great game to place in like a 3-leg teaser and bring that thing down to 7.5 and just count on it. Book it.
There you go.
That game will be a Kevin Harlan, Trent Green special.
Yes!
Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Jags minus 3.5.
Oh, boy.
History says Jacksonville with this one because for some odd reason the Colts can't seem to figure him out. If for no other reason, I'm going.
But you got Gardner Minshew as the quarterback.
Oh, Minshew mania starting.
Bang, bang, gang. Bang, bang, gang.
Long live the air raid. I'm still going with Jacksonville. If it was an Indy, I'd think about the Colts, but they're in Jacksonville, so I'll take the Jaguars.
I think what we thought about the Jags coming into the season is happening a whole lot more slowly than we wanted to acknowledge it could happen. I think we may look up in December and they may be more fully formed than they are right now. But sometimes we get caught up in thinking as sports fans that growth happens just bang from one off season to the next. And it's like flipping the page from one chapter to the next. Forget flipping from one chapter to the next. It's like a collection of short stories. It's Dickensian in nature. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But no, it's not a different story. It's the same chapter. It's a different chapter of the same story. And things don't necessarily just snap off like that. Stories take times to grow and progress. And I'm way off on a literary tangent here. So all I'll say is Jacksonville still has mistakes in there. And they still have stumbles. And they're still going to stub their toe from time to time. I think that includes this weekend. They get Minshew mania'd at home. Give me the Colts and the points.
Don't worry, Chris. You got all the stars for the pan pizza. You're good. You're booking buttons.
Yes.
Greg has no idea.
Best salad bar ever.
That was way over Greg's head.
What are you two talking about?
See,
children of the '80s unite.
If you know, you know. Nerds, get at us in the comment section.
Are you not going to explain it?
Okay, so there was
book it's amazing.
Book it. Yeah, there was a program where if you read enough books, you'd get a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. And
okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, book it.
Book it was a joy, man.
They did have that when I was in elementary school.
Man, so many Hardy Boys books just consumed.
Encyclopedia Brown, baby. We're stacking them up. Let's go.
After that tangent, I'm going to bring us back, and I'm going to take Jacksonville in the points. Jacksonville went into Indy in week 1, and they won the game by 10. This game is in Jacksonville. They come off a win against Buffalo. They're feeling themselves right now. I think they keep it rolling. I'll take the Jags in the points.
All right.
New Orleans at Houston. Texans plus 1.5.
Man, this is tough.
This is tough.
I like the fact that the Texans are at home. I like the fact that they're at home. I like the fact that it's New Orleans, a team that actually is pretty good on the road. It's kind of weird, this matchup. But I think the Texans have figured some things out. I thought they took Atlanta all the way to the wire. We saw what they did against the Steelers, and they did that against Atlanta on the road. I'm putting Houston as a 1.5-point underdog.
Yeah, I'm trying not to put too much stock into the Steelers result for the Texans.
Right.
I'm trying real hard not to, but home dog, even as short as it is, what, 1.5, home dog against another mediocre team. I think I'm with the Texans on this one. Yeah, give me Houston in the points.
Man, I was on Houston last week, and I really thought we were going to have it when Stroud went down the field and hit Dalton Schultz for the touchdown. But Desmond Ridder and the Falcons come all the way back, and they get the field goal. I'm with you guys. I like Houston at home in this one. The Saints blew out New England 34-0. Now they're probably thinking a little bit too much about themselves. Houston loses that game in a heartbreaking fashion like that. I think Houston bounces back. And now the toilet bowl. New England at Las Vegas.
Oh,
everybody's favorite matchup. Belichick, McDaniels.
Oh my God. Garoppolo.
It's the Jim Nantz Tony Romo game.
Wait. This is the Nance Romo game?
Really?
Sure is.
Oh my God.
Wait, do they not have Eagles Jets? They couldn't have put them on Eagles Jets?
Eagles Jets is on Fox.
Oh.
We get a doubleheader on Fox this week, and that is Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and that's the game that we get on Fox.
Wow.
Oh boy.
CBS is a single this week.
So hold on. What's the spread here on this one? 3?
It is Las Vegas minus 3.5.
3.5. The hook brings you back. The Patriots suck, but I think it's a close rock fight kind of game. I will take Bill Belichick with an opportunity to prove to his former proteges, both of them, McDaniels and Garoppolo, that he still has a few tricks up his old cutoff sleeves. Patriots
really
plus
good.
3. Patriots plus 3.5.
That's a great call, Chris.
Wait, now you've jinxed it.
No, I mean your thought process. Because originally I was like, wow, New England couldn't score against the Saints to save their lives. They're not going to be able to stop Devontae, but Belichick, I mean, he's got to be on the hot seat.
What's Belichick really good at? Taking away the one thing you're good at.
Well. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you think he's on the hot seat, or do you think like Kraft is like, hey, only win one game, we'll take Caleb Williams and we'll start it over again next year? Like, is he on the hot seat?
I mean, if he goes 2-15, Kraft is going to pull him aside and say, hey, Bill, I think you might be done. He's not going to fire him. Bill will go out on his own terms to a certain extent. The same way Mike Tomlin will probably never get fired by the Rooneys. He'll go out, if he went 2-15 for 2 years in a row or whatever it may be, at a certain point, somebody will pull him aside and be like, listen, I think your time's up. They wouldn't fire him. But I think Bill Belichick, if he has a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad season,
more literary references.
Book it. I know. I'm sorry. I think he'll know it's time for him to walk away. But I do think even if they only win 2 games this year, this is one of them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's hard for me to trust anything with the Raiders. It's hard for me to trust anything involving Josh McDaniels. And if you're talking about the potential of a possible chess match with Belichick and McDaniels, I'm going to take McDaniels, even though McDaniels has Devontae Adams. New England's defense will come in with something ready to go. Will their offense live up to it? I'm not so sure. But even then, they can keep this within the field goal.
Man, originally I liked Las Vegas. You guys are trying to talk me out of it. But at the end of the day, Mac Jones is awful.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Las Vegas. I'll
He
take
is awful.
I'll
This
take
is
the
true.
Raiders.
He'd bet.
I'll take the Raiders.
And Devontae Adams still walks the planet. So
Yeah.
New England's got to put up points, and they're not doing it. Maybe Bailey Zappi starts this game. Who knows? If Zappi starts,
long live the air raid, Bailey Zappi.
Yep. If Zappy's a starter or gets inserted early enough in this game, then that definitely pushes it in the Patriots' direction. Not that he's fantastic,
is still
but
out for New England?
Don't know.
That's something worth
Let's
looking
look.
at.
Let's look that up. We're gonna spend 5 seconds. Very rarely do we do this. We're gonna spend 5 seconds on research Before
who are we looking for?
Oh no, they
Christian
put him on IR.
Gonzalez.
They put him on IR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
So he's out for at least 4 weeks.
If he was playing, I'd feel a little bit more strongly about them maybe being able to stop Devontae, but
yeah.
All right. I'll stick with Vegas.
Maybe the play on that one is the over because the total's so low. It's 41.5.
Mac Jones. That's all I'll say.
Good call. Never mind. Go ahead.
Give me Bailey Zappi, man. Start Zappi. Let's go.
Yeah, honestly, I think they might actually do that. Mac has looked terrible.
Start Zappi.
All right. Back to our picks. Detroit, the kneecap biters at Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield, Bucks plus 3.5.
This is where the Bucks turn back into the Bucks and Baker Mayfield starts to turn back into Baker Mayfield, I think. 3.5 for a home dog is tempting, again, because of the hook, but I think the Lions go down there and take care of business. Give me the Lions minus the 3.5.
I'm going to go with the Greg Finley logic and say Tampa Bay at home off a bye week.
Okay.
And the Detroit team that really has not faced a team, I think they have faced one, but you don't see a lot of teams that can really go shot for shot with Detroit. Like they can really light you up on offense. And I think that's important. And Greg and I have already talked about how good their offensive line is. However, Tampa Bay doesn't flinch. Baker Mayfield has brought kind of an element of, okay, you guys want to do that? We're going to give you our best shot too.
Yeah.
Like they may lose, but they'll get their licks in. You know what I mean? And
let me just say, Mike Evans did not practice on Wednesday.
Oh,
so that is a caveat.
Okay, something to keep in mind. But there's a good point to be made there from Josh about like ignorance being bliss, and if ignorance is bliss, Baker Mayfield is just, he's the happiest man on earth, because he has the blind swag of like Johnny Manziel at his peak in College Station.
He's Lenny Dykstra in Moneyball. He's too stupid to be intimidated.
Yes, exactly.
But that's a good thing for him. It works for him.
It's what works for him. I'm still on the Lions.
You know what I'll do? My pick will be tentative on what Mike Evans does.
Okay.
If Evans plays, I'll go Tampa. If he doesn't, I'll say Detroit. Because I think he's the one guy that can keep it close.
I have you penciled in for Tampa Bay, but you are subject to change. How about that?
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
All right. I'm going to take Detroit. The Lions look like a juggernaut right now. I love what they're doing with the offense. David Montgomery is a beast, and I drafted him in fantasy, and I love watching him just torch everybody. And even with Amon St. Brown out last week, they still didn't skip a beat on offense. So
Frank Ragnow, Woo Pig.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to get it in there, don't you?
Frank Ragnow, baby. Let's do it.
I'm going to take Detroit. Arizona at the Rams. Rams minus 6.5.
Do we have to? James Conner's out now, I think somebody told me.
He is, yeah.
It feels like it's slowly doing what they wanted it to do in Arizona. All due respect to our man Josh Dobbs, but a touchdown for the Rams, even at home, a full touchdown for the Rams might be a bit much. Cooper Kupp's healthy. Yeah, you know what? I'll lay the 7. Rams minus, is that what it is? 7?
6.5.
6.5, even better. Rams minus 6.5.
Yeah, they get Cooper Kupp back. They'll give Arizona problems. You get now you got 2 receivers for teams to worry about that McVay can do different things with. I think that's a big problem for Arizona. I'll take the Rams.
Same here. Rams. Philadelphia at the Jets. Jets plus 6.5.
This was almost my survivor pick, and it's right up there as a quality survivor pick, I think. The Eagles, it hasn't been pretty for Philly, but this is exactly the case where it doesn't have to be pretty. It's the Jets. Zach Wilson will make a mistake at some point, and they'll pull away late. And yes, I'm going to lay 7 on the road with Philly. Philly over the Jets.
Josh,
I'm going to use the exact same thing I said. Here's what I'll say. Even though Zach Wilson is starting to show some signs of life, I'll use the exact same logic I used for San Francisco, and I'll apply the same thing to Philly. And this is the game I'll probably end up watching because I'll be in that New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area over the weekend. I'll be in Jersey for my daughter's baptism. So I'll probably be watching this one. And by the end of it, Greg, I'll be throwing the ones in the air because the Eagles still got the bloodline on defense. I'm going Philly.
I was just trying to say, Zach Wilson versus that defense from Georgia, Philadelphia.
That's all I'm saying, Greg. That's all I'm saying. Wilson gets the bloodline.
Jalen Carter's going to eat him for lunch. Samoan Spike time.
That's what I'm saying. And he's doing that to everybody. In fairness, he is torturing everybody. Love to see it.
Samoan Spike on Zach Wilson.
Would you be totally surprised if Jalen Carter did that in the middle of a game? I wouldn't.
No.
If he just grabbed him by the shoulder pads, bang.
Or he's Superman.
TJ Watt did it to Zay Flowers last week.
That's true.
TJ Watt pretty much did it to Zay Flowers.
He tried to Superman punch him. People were like, "Oh, he's so dirty." It's like, well, the receiver didn't even catch the ball, so what does it matter? All right, here comes the fun one. Another.
Is that what this is?
It's not a toilet bowl, but it's really bad versus really good. Giants at Buffalo. Bills minus 14.5. Survivor pick. Buffalo.
The only thing.
14.5.
The only thing that worries me about this is the huge number and the Bills. Did the Bills not play in London last week?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
They did.
So I don't like the coming back from London and playing the following week.
But they're angry. They're angry.
That's all well and good. They can be as angry as they want to. They're coming back and laying 14. I don't think they're going to lose to the Giants. But I think they're going to do that thing where they let the Giants hang around way too long, and it's an ugly game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Josh Allen comes out and throws touchdown passes on the first 3 drives, and I look like a big dummy. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last time. But you give me 14, give me the Giants.
Daniel Jones may not play in this game.
That might be a positive in my direction.
You like Tyrod Taylor? You like Tyrod Taylor?
I mean,
oh man. Wow.
Although Saquon might play.
Exactly.
I think Saquon is going to play. Yeah. I'm taking the 14.5, and I'll probably be wrong because when the Chiefs played the Jets, I was like, oh, Kansas City minus 9.5, no questions asked. And the Jets only lost by 3. It's a Sunday night football game, but I'm still taking Buffalo at home. I think Tirico and Collinsworth are like, why do we have to call this game? Because Buffalo's going to win by 30, and it's going to be ugly for the Giants.
If Saquon plays, that could change things in this game.
Uh-huh.
Because we're figuring this out. Granted, a few of us already knew this last year. The reason why the Giants offense worked so well is because they ran the ball and didn't turn it over a lot. You get Saquon in this game, and he's healthy enough to go, he probably helps run the ball with this offense, and maybe they don't turn it over so much, and I think that helps them, and it keeps it within 2 touchdowns. If they have Saquon, I like the Giants.
All right. Final one, Monday Night Football, Cowboys at the Chargers, LA plus 2.5.
Oh, man.
So let's go back to something we've talked about a couple times this week. Home dog off a bye, right? Is that what we're dealing with the Chargers here? Yeah. Home dog off a bye. Do I think there's potential for Micah Parsons to absolutely terrorize Justin Herbert? Yes, that is a distinct possibility. Do I also think there's a chance that this thing could be 36-34 and the Chargers maybe lose on a walk-off field goal, but because of the points they cover? Yeah, distinct possibility. That's what I'm aiming for. That is what I'm aiming for. Give me the Chargers and the points.
I was back and forth with this one, looking at these two teams. Here's the reason why I'm taking the Chargers. One name in particular. Kellen Moore, former Cowboys offensive coordinator, now Chargers offensive coordinator. If anybody knows how to beat that Dallas team,
Yep.
It's going to be Kellen Moore. I think they're going to be really aggressive. They're going to try to get out in front of Dallas early because if you can get in front of them early, you can beat Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, if he has to throw the ball a lot, he's an absolute liability. Kellen Moore knows that. He's going to be aggressive with Herbert. They're going to try to get out in front early. I like the Chargers as a home dog, especially off of bye week. With 2 weeks to prepare for Dallas, yeah, give me the Chargers.
I'm going to take the Cowboys because the Chargers have an awful rushing defense, and I think that Tony Pollard is going to cook some, and I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Tony Pollard is good, and they're finally letting him do his thing too. So yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's fair philosophy there, I think.
Very fair philosophy. And when they run, they win.
Yeah, and Dak was terrible last week. Usually, whenever he's terrible, they bounce back and look better because they run the ball.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our week 6 hot sheet, just like that. And what I can guarantee is that Greg and Josh will probably be somewhere right around or a couple games better than 500, and that I will be one of two. I will either have a wildly great week or a wildly terrible week, because that's really about the only way it goes at this point. So
you're the Steelers.
Oh my God, I am.
You either win or you get blown out.
That's the most depressing thing I've been told in like the last 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. I'm the Steelers.
You win or you get blown out.
Oh, God. I need to go lay down. This has been another edition of Fourth Down in Steel City. I'm going to go have 2 fingers of scotch and a reckoning with myself.
I was just about to ask you if the brown bottle was nearby, because it's not a live post game, but it might be necessary.
It's out at the bar. Don't worry, I'm going to grab it on the way upstairs. I need it
next time Chris is at a media scrum, I'll be like, Chris, what's wrong? I'm like, I was told I'm the Steelers.
I'm the Steelers. Thanks to all of you for listening, and those of you that watched on YouTube. You can subscribe to it. Get inside your Odyssey app, AUDACY. Follow, like, subscribe, download, listen, rate, review, so we can continue to bring these wonderful podcasts to you. For Greg Finley, our intrepid producer, have a great weekend, Greg. I know you got a wedding to go be a part of. Have a blast, my friend. For Josh Taylor, who is going to go get his little girl baptized out in Jersey, I just hope that it's not Jersey water, because, you never know what's in the Jersey water. Although it builds up immunity, I've been told. I am Chris Mack. Thank you for listening and watching. We'll do it again next week to get you ready for Steelers-Rams right here on Fourth Down in the Steel City.